everyone, it's that Star Wars season again, which means it's time for episode 8, which means it's time for another Hizzy review. So what do you say? You want to talk some Last Jedi? Then let's get to it!
Star Wars, it's the Last Jedi, but which Last Jedi? I bet it's Poe.
Wait, is that a spoiler? You guys don't think it's Poe, right? Alright, Star Wars, Episode 8, The Last Jedi. The episode Star Wars fans from all around have been dreaming about is finally here, and man, where do I begin? Sort of picking up immediately after The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi dives deeper into the ever-expanding Star Wars universe. Directed by Rian Johnson, Episode 8 continues to feel new while echoing the memories of the past. And in proper Empire Strikes Back form, this second story in the trilogy tells a tale about survival, training in the ways of the Force, and fulfilling your destiny. It's a movie that I like more and more as it sinks in, and even though I was totally wrong in terms of predictions, as well as most people's online Star Wars theories were, this film is still quite amazing. Mark Hamill's role as Luke Skywalker steals the show. Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver share the second place in my opinion, and everyone else in the cast just makes this Star Wars chapter feel like such an awesome, pivotal new addition to the franchise. There are some moments that left me kind of frustrated, but I'm choosing to go forward trusting that those moments will all be sorted out in later films. So for now, I absolutely love the film. I say go check it out. But I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, it's very likely that you have already done so. And apparently, half of you hated it. And honestly, that's okay. I think we can all respect each other's opinions, right? Maybe? Not my Star Wars. Okay, let's talk spoilers.
Da da da, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Da da da, for real, don't spoil this movie for yourself.
I can't believe Snoke turned out to be a clone that was grown from Luke's chopped off hand. I'm kidding, that doesn't happen. It was Anakin's hand. No, really, that's not it either. It's Snoke is Padme. I'm kidding, whatever, never mind, I'm sorry. Spoilers ahead, people. What did I like about the story? I really appreciated that this story was centered around just surviving and getting the Resistance to safety. It felt familiar to Empire Strikes Back, but it was also still different enough to have its own merits. It's not a blow-up-a-Death Star movie, even though they just keep throwing bigger and bigger starships at the Resistance to blow up on the screen. What else? I loved Rey and Luke's time on the island. We get to slowly learn why Luke has become the way he is, while Rey is doing her own soul-searching. It dives into why Luke has doubts about passing on what he's learned, and if that's the right thing to do, where he failed with Ben Solo, and why he's afraid that Rey will do the exact same thing. I loved all of that.
What about all the characters?
Did you like Rose? I did. Rose is the pure one. She knows what's worth fighting for. I thought Rose was cool. What about Hux? I like Poe toying with Hux and making him look stupid. I thought that opening joke was hilarious. What about the Porgs? I thought the Porgs were alright. I think Chewie should have bit down and enjoyed that one for dinner. Poor Chewie having to sit around and wait for Luke and Rey to figure out their crap. Let Chewie eat a porg for crying out loud. What's he supposed to do? Drink that disgusting island udder anteater walrus thing that Luke has? What was the point of that thing? Did you like Admiral Holdo? Not at first. I actually thought she was going to be a mole of some kind, that because Poe was so opposed to her plan at the start, so I kept expecting her to become a threat. But that was all misdirection, and then she gets to have that epic lightspeed ramming scene, so it turns out she's pretty awesome. So I did like her. But not at first.
What about Poe and Finn?
I didn't connect with Poe and Finn the first time through. I was pretty overwhelmed with everything the film threw at me that I didn't really appreciate their stories. But the second time, I liked them so much more. You know, Poe is struggling with his choosing a retreat versus standing and fight. He's learning to be the next leader, and he's gaining wisdom. And Finn is learning a dark truth about war, that there are people that profit from both sides fighting each other. Both of their characters are growing, and I like that they are becoming more important to the rebellion.
What about Phasma?
I hate to say this, but I have not been a fan of Phasma yet. I think she still brings barely anything to the table except an awesome costume. And that's a hard thing to say, but that's exactly what Boba Fett is, you know?
But Boba Fett's like the deadliest bounty hunter ever.
Then freaking show it in the movie, you know? I mean, whatever, I digress. Captain Phasma is cool because it's Gwendolyn Christie inside, not because Captain Phasma actually ever does anything crucial. And also, she's dead now, again. Maybe, I guess. If they bring her back, I'm gonna be like, man, what's going on? Is she a robot? What about the DJ? Benicio del Toro is the Lando Calrissian of this tale. He does what he's gotta do to save his own skin. The only difference this time is he doesn't actually redeem his betrayal like Lando does. I like how they flip that expectation. I found his character really interesting, and I really hope that he's not a one-time passerby. What did you think about Leia? As a Star Wars fan, I feel like this movie plays with your emotions really hard with Leia because we all know Carrie Fisher is no longer with us. Every time she's on screen, it felt like I didn't want to let go because I knew every moment is closer to the last one we get to see with her. And it felt like they kind of used that. They bait you into thinking she's going to get blown up into space. They make you think she might stay behind and sacrifice herself with that light speed scene when everyone is escaping. There were even a few moments where I thought she wasn't even going to get on the Falcon at the end of the film. I can't handle this kind of bait and switch stuff, Star Wars. Not with Princess Leia. This whole movie is telling me to let the past die, and I'm just sitting there going, I feel like you're kind of asking a lot right now. Can we just have Leia for a little bit longer? So I'm actually really grateful that they didn't write in that exit scene for her, and I love that she gets to lead the Resistance just for a little while longer after the movie ends.
What was your favorite?
This question is too hard to lock down, as I feel this movie is packed with extremely memorable moments, and it just keeps delivering more and more. I was just sitting there thinking in theory, like, what is going on? They just keep giving me stuff, more and more stuff, and it's working. I love it. From the very beginning, Luke tossing the lightsaber over his shoulder, Snoke getting chopped in half, Rey and Ben fighting together, Luke standing in front of the First Order assault team, Ghost Yoda. You know what? Ghost Yoda is my favorite. They made Yoda a puppet again. That wins. It's awesome. I love you. And Yoda talking about their failures being the strongest lessons while they watch the Jedi tree burn was something I never expected, and I really appreciated that. And when you start to think about what's going on in that scene, it makes everything really interesting, especially when you realize later that Rey has the books. Yoda even tells Luke at the tree there's nothing in there that Rey doesn't already possess. So taken literally, he probably knows she already has them. So did Yoda put the books on the Falcon? Who knows?
What about that Rey and Kylo Ren fight, though?
That was probably the most surprising and most powerful scene in the whole movie. Everything about that scene is beautiful. The fire burning away Snoke's room, and Rey and Kylo refusing to become the thing that they are told is their destiny. It was so awesome, and I think the pivotal moment where the Force is actually in balance. It was so well done, and I totally wanted Ben and Rey to make out when they won. I was just like, yeah! Now kiss! Unless they pull a fast one and somehow make them siblings after all, in which case, never mind, gross. But I'm still holding out for Rey to be a Kenobi, or a Jen. I don't believe that whole Rey's parents aren't important silly business. There is a whole manipulation theme going on in this movie, so Rey can still be anything, as far as I'm concerned.
What about Snoke?
I didn't like that Snoke is this all-powerful menace, and then he's just cut down so quickly. I mean, I'm not mad about it. That scene is freaking amazing, but I was taken up by such surprise that I was just like, well now what? What's going on here? I didn't expect this to happen until like episode 9. I had so many questions, and now I just feel like, well, that doesn't matter. Snoke's gone. Or is he? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gone.
So what else did you not like?
The casino planet. Sadly. Everything in that section, minus Benicio del Toro, felt like cheap, crappy prequels Star Wars to me. The cinematic quality felt very out of character, and ultimately, it was just a reason to give Finn and Rose a purpose in the story. I thought they deserved better.
Anything else?
Oh, I didn't like that BB-8 drove that walker and shot a bunch of people. That seemed odd. I mean, it was really funny, but the more I thought about it, I felt like it made BB-8 less innocent, and that just kind of bugged me. I mean, that BB-8 droid, is that what I'm calling it BB-8. I don't know what his name is. The angry-looking version of BB-8? I think he would drive a walker and kill people, but not BB-8. He's a nice guy.
But what was the point?
To make lots and lots of money. Oh, I mean, there's more. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, this film is actually about balance, manipulation, the strength and failure, and embracing the future. There are symbols that represent balance and opposites, the dark side and the light side, the First Order and the Resistance. Rose and her sister wear that BFF yin-yang symbol thing around their necks, and Rey and Ben touching hands is sort of making that same symbol to me. Snoke speaks about the darkness and the light rising to meet it. Ben has a scar down his face, and Rey sheds a tear down the same side of her face. And as Luke becomes one with the Force, you see that Rey is taking his place. It all kind of mirrors each other. It's also a story about choosing a side and widening your perspective. You see people face a path, make a decision, and discover they were wrong, and then move forward with a new sense of purpose. Poe wants to run headfirst into battle and doesn't trust his leader's plans. Luke doesn't want to train Rey because he thinks his failures with Ben will only happen again. Finn learns how the rich can profit off of war. And even Snoke is so sure of his evil plan, he discovers he was wrong in the worst way. Like Yoda says, failure is our greatest teacher. Because failure doesn't mean the end. I mean, it can mean the end for you, just look at Snoke, but it doesn't mean it's the end of all things. The spark ignites the flame. The rebirth of the rebellion, the rebirth of the new Jedi, it all lives on. It's the same, but it's also new. And that little kid at the end is just another beginning to the never-ending Star Wars.
Never-ending Star Wars.
So those are my thoughts. So that's my opinion of the movie. I know it will probably evolve a little more as I intend to watch this movie several more times, but please let me know what you thought of the film in the comments below. In other hizzy news, you may be asking yourself, dude, where the heck are all the new how it should have ended? Well, I did table things to get this review out. Star Wars is kind of precious to me, but I assure you that how it should have ended production never stops. Thor is in the works, we're still talking about Justice League, and now that The Last Jedi is here, you know that that one's on the list as well. But I assure you, hizzy episodes are being built. We've just been trying to give you as much stuff as we can while you wait, so I hope you've enjoyed all the bonus videos as well. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Share, like, and subscribe, you know the drill, and we'll see you next time.